Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, college football fans, National Football League fans across the nation and around the world. This is Tim May with the Tim May Show featuring Clay Hall. And in moments, we're going to go by the magic of wireless to Austin, Texas to talk to one of our best buddies, a guy who's been on here a lot and we hope keeps coming on, Jay Richardson, former Buckeye, former not Las Vegas Raider. What was he? He was an Oakland Raider. Yeah. Former Oakland Raider in the National Football League, former Saint. He was a former Saint. How do you become a former Saint? Does the Pope have to go? You're no longer worthy. What happens there?
No, Jay's still a Saint.
He's still a Saint.
In my book, he's still a Saint.
Yeah.
We were down there for a Sugar Bowl or some playoff game, and he was on the turf there at the Superdome, and he was reminiscing. It was beautiful.
Well, we're going to call this coming up. We're going to call this the JayClayMay Report because that has a certain panache to it. Do you agree?
And you two have hair. If I could just look at that, there's nothing left.
Well, that's okay, man. Don't look at the monitor. Think about what you're saying. But the bottom line is we had Lorenzo Stiles Sr. on the other day. I really enjoyed that interview with him. I think you did too.
Loved it.
He had two sons drafted in the same National Football League draft. We're going to get to Jay and ask what that all means and stuff. But just, man, that was a cool interview. And I encourage people to go back and if you haven't watched it, watch it or listen to it. You can get us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts along with some other what do you call those things? Platforms. But we do this YouTube version so you can see really how ugly we really are, or at least I am. I bring Clay in for the balance,
get Jay up,
for the balance effect. Yeah, speaking of handsome, let's get Jay Richardson live from Austin, Texas, or live to video. Hey, Jay Richardson, thanks for joining us again, my man. You're one of our, you might be our favorite dude.
He's on the payroll now.
Hey, today, as I sit here right now, you're our favorite dude, Jay.
I'll take it, man. What's going on, fellas? Tim, Clay, love you guys, man. Good to see you.
Hey, it's the JayClayMay Report, man. That's the way I'm looking at it. Just wanted to get you on because I was telling Clay, I mean, the first guy I saw walking up the ramp as I was going down the ramp at Ohio State spring game. After the game was over, we're going down for our brief interviews we got with Ryan Day, Julian, Sayin, and Kenyatta Jackson. But it was Jay Richardson, who lives in Austin but finds his way to Columbus more often than Columbus found his way to the New World. Like that hadn't been totally canceled yet, has it? They're still at least admitting he came to the New World.
I think that's still in the rule book.
He paved the way, so to speak, and now get out of the way is what they're telling him. But I digress. But Jay, I wanted to get you on for a couple of reasons, man. Number one, I wanted to get your take on what you kind of saw at the Ohio State spring game from the sense of what it portends for the future. But then past that, Ohio State had 11 players drafted in this draft. They've had 25 players drafted over the last 2 years and the last two drafts. And yet you look at the betting sites, and Ohio State, depending on where you look, is the odds on favorite to win the 2026 national championship. How can you lose all of that and still be expected to do all of this? I'm just getting your take, man. Is that kind of wild to you?
It's wild, but it's not crazy because you got to understand Ohio State, man. It is a football factory. It's an NFL factory. And the Big Ten as a whole, since the NIL and the portal and all of that has happened, what you're seeing now is a migration of talent. Historically, SEC just dominated the top end of the talent pool. And now what are we looking at? 3 years in a row, Big Ten champions, and 3 years in a row, national champions come from the Big Ten. All the best talent now migrates to the Big Ten, and all of it, the cream of the crop seems to settle right in Columbus, Ohio, which is why there's 11 guys in the draft. So it's not shocking that there's lofty expectations. What is shocking, though, is just the idea that coming off of a season where Ohio State, honestly, underachieved in a couple key moments against Indiana and Miami with the kind of talent they had, and then for what they lost to still have those kind of expectations is truly a testament to what Ryan Day's built in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, Jay, as you look at those 11 guys, The thing that I was curious that's in your head, who intrigues you most about those, maybe the first rounders or any player in the 11
I don't
that
think
you're waiting to see how they matriculate to the league?
Yeah. So the easy answer, and I think the most obvious answer, is the number 2 pick from Ohio State, which is Arvell Reese, guys. I mean, I know what Caleb Downs is going to be. I mean, he is a floor raiser, right? He walks into the building and your defense instantly gets better and instantly your communication gets better. You know what you're going to get out of him. Sonny Styles goes to Washington. I know what I'm going to get out of Sonny. Elite ball knowledge, explosive athlete. The dude gets to the football. And then with Carnell, people said there were some mysteries about his speed and can he be a true number 1 because he played opposite of obviously arguably the best player in college football, and Jeremiah Smith. But Carnell is an absolute game breaker, deep threat. You know what he is. The one guy everyone had questions about, and not bad questions, just curious as to how the New York Giants are going to use Arvell Reese. He's the one that I think has the highest ceiling, and we've heard this from every draft expert. Arvell Reese, with his freakish athleticism and his physicality, and honestly his mentality. He has a defensive lineman's mentality inside of a linebacker, which I personally love because he wants the contact. He wants to get downhill. He can play in space. He was a fantastic off-the-ball linebacker, underratedly so.
Mm-hmm.
Great against the run, great against spine quarterbacks. Is he a true pass rusher? Does he have a repertoire of skills? Not yet. But does he have every raw ability that every great pass rusher has? Abso-freaking-lutely. So
where? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I think he's the guy that the Giants have to decide how they want to deploy his skill set, because I think with some of the pass rushers they already have, and they've got some tremendous ones, in Thibodeau and Brian Burns, who's unbelievable on third downs, a fantastic pass rusher. So when they add Arvell, everyone goes, what are they thinking here? I got a good idea. They're thinking he's going to play stand-up linebacker. And I think stand-up linebacker for the first 2 downs is critical for them because he's going to shore up their run game. The Giants were awful against the run, awful against leads, powers, physical downhill running plays they struggled with. There's a reason they went up and got Arvell so early, because he's going to shore that up immediately. He is a banger. And then on third down, you have a guy that can rotate in there and rush the passer.
Perfect. Yeah, that was my question. Where would you use him? And it sounds like he needs to tackle people.
Yes, they struggled getting people on the ground. They struggled taking on blockers. Their 3 stand-up linebackers struggled against every run concept. They could not get off blocks. And then you bring in a guy, Arvell, 6'4", long arms, can get off blocks, attacks guards. Look up his film in Purdue and since. I mean, the dude, Ohio University, he is crushing pulling guards. He's knocking guys off. Fullbacks can't deal with him. So I think they looked at that film and said, there's our run stopper right there. That's who can get us to third down so we can use these elite pass rushers that we have. And then he can develop in the pass rush game. But he's a stand-up linebacker.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't really have a defense unless you have a base defense. That's the way I look at it.
Yes.
So you go from there. So go back to home plate and get things going. But isn't it really, really odd, Jay, that forever he was said to be going to the New York Jets, who then took David Bailey from Texas Tech. And what I'm getting to here is the Giants had to go, oh, my gosh, right? They immediately did a reset and took Arvell, which shows you how highly he was how highly he was held by these teams that desperately need some defense. And I think that speaks as much to what he brings to the table as anything else. Obviously the Titans needed offensive help, and they went out and got that with Carnell Tate, which flipped the draft a little bit, but it quickly reset as soon as the Giants took Arvell. Do you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. And here's what I'll say, and this is coming from a guy who had a brief stint with the New York Jets.
Yeah.
I'll say 2 things quickly. One, the best thing that could have happened to Arvell was the New York Jets passed on him.
I said that. I tweeted that. I said he ended up in the same city, but in a much better place.
Yes, yes. And then what I'll say from the Jets' point of view, and listen, Clay, Tim, you guys know how much I love all my teammates, guys I played with. There was one particular guy that was a top 5 pick for the Jets at defensive line years ago. And that didn't go great for the Jets. And I think they thought about that a little bit and go, do we want to go Ohio State as a pass rusher again, and especially with a guy that is not necessarily a proven pass rusher in Arvell, but is a proven elite football player. And I think the Jets made the right call, and I think it was the best thing for Arvell.
Yeah, he's a proven heat-seeking missile is the way I look at it, and then you go from there. But Vernon Gholston, that was a great reach. I know you didn't name him and stuff. I think it's who we're talking about. But sometimes the defense doesn't match. You bring a guy in, but he doesn't match what you're seeking.
Correct.
And I think with Arvell's more of a moldable, to a certain extent, piece of clay. I mean, he's never going to be 275, 280 pounds or anything like that, I don't think, because I think that would take away from him. But boy, he packs a punch with what he brings to the table, right? I mean, that's what we're talking about.
No, listen, Arvell doesn't need to be 275. You're talking about a guy that ran a 4.4 at the combine.
But I'm talking about a guy that you could foresee putting his hand down on the edge. That's not why you got Arvell Reese, is what I'm saying. Go ahead.
That's not why they got him. And to be honest, where football is headed, Arvell is the prototype for modern football for a defensive player, right?
Yes.
I mean, he can run with tight ends. He can run with running backs out of the backfield. He can run with anybody, and he can also hit offensive linemen to the point where he's knocking them backwards and still filling in the run game. He's a guy you do not take off the football field.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. I put this forth on several radio shows I was on, and even on our podcast here, Jay. The Giants, well, for that matter, the Jets, but the NFL's already seen him be implemented by a former high-quality defensive coordinator from the NFL in Matt Patricia. They have seen what he saw, how he could be a Swiss Army knife to a certain extent in a certain little area of the field. I think that helps in your evaluation. What do you think?
So here's what people got to understand about the NFL and the defenses in the NFL. College game, NFL game. 2 completely different games.
Yeah.
Some would argue, like for instance, me, some would argue I had a better NFL career than I had Ohio State career because my skill set was more suited to the NFL game.
Bingo.
And I think Arvell is very, very similar. He is a guy that, think about it, only 1 year really being a full-time starter. I mean, Patricia comes in, he's watching workouts in the winter, he's watching workouts in the spring, and he's going, hold on. This guy can run, he can hit. What do you got? You guys aren't using him? I got something
nasty.
For him.
He can be nasty.
And he's nasty. And he's bringing, I'm talking about Patricia, he's bringing this NFL cachet, understanding multiple defenses. Who can I use in every single version of every defense that I'm going to be throwing at an offensive coordinator? Arvell's perfect for that. You want to run a 3-4, he can stand up on the edge and bring it. You want to run a 4-3, he can step off the ball and he can cover guys out of the backfield, run with the tight end down the seam. And then when you get in the third down and you want to go nickel and dime and you need a spy, there is not a better player you can do against all of these mobile quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't think there's a higher ceiling pick and a best value for what you're going to get as a defender than Arvell Reese, and that's why he went so high.
Agreed. And it's funny. David Bailey is a plug-and-play player, but I'm not even sure what that means. I mean, I think he's a tremendous player. Do not misunderstand what I just said. But when you just look at it just shows you in one mentality is we got to win. We got to win tomorrow, right? I mean, that's the Jets. That current regime has got to win tomorrow. John Harbaugh, you got to figure, he's got at least a 3-year window to get things straightened out or whatever with the Giants, barring just major catastrophe. So I think we even saw a difference in, man, we got to get somebody who can help us immediately, although I thought Arvell would help them immediately. So I thought that was kind of a stupid point to make, but a lot of people were making it. But go ahead.
Well, the Jets had a different need.
Right.
I think the Jets specifically struggled last season with turnovers. You cut on Texas Tech's tape, David Bailey, what does he do? Strip sacks. That was kind of his thing.
Yep.
Caused a lot of turnovers. What did the Jets struggle last in the league in turnovers? We need a guy that can get to the quarterback, can cause turnovers. Makes perfect sense for the Jets. And when you say plug and play, you're right. He's a polished pass rusher. He's not a guy that you have to, really teach all the ins and outs and give him some go-to moves. He's got all that. Is his ceiling as high as Arvell's when it comes to what he could become? I don't believe so. And a lot of scouts don't believe so. But you need, as you said, Tim, you need impact right now. David Bailey's going to go next season in the NFL and probably have 6 to 7 sacks next season, and that's what they need.
This reason, one of the main reasons I wanted you on today too. I wanted to ask you this. So, when you get to the National Football League, a lot of expectations. A lot of them are you do your own work, and I mean, it's not like Mick Marotti sitting there, and holding you accountable all day, every day. But do you remember? Did you get actual personal coaching where they worked on moves, where they worked on? I mean, how is that different from what you got in college in terms of that interpersonal relationship with a coach or assistant coach, assistant coaches, assistants, etc.? How does that work? And what would be the one thing you'd be working immediately with Arvell in that first OTA or rookie session?
Yeah, fantastic question. And I think sometimes people, casual football fans don't understand the progression of becoming a professional as you go through college. College teaches you the 3,000 level view, 30,000 level view, I should say, of football. It teaches you kind of the overall schemes, what you're really looking at out there, what your objectives are as a defender. When you get to the NFL, it distills everything. You know what it's like, guys? It's like you got your undergrad, then you got your grad degree. You're in the NFL, now you're getting your master's and your doctorate, right? Like you're learning every detailed element.
Wait a minute, let me throw it in there. You're not just learning surgery, you're doing surgery. Go ahead.
Correct. Yeah. So now you're performing it and you're learning it from the best in the game. I mean, fellas, my rookie season, I walk into that defensive line room. We've got, a two-time Pro Bowler at the time, Derek Burgess, to my right. He's teaching me pass rush. And oh, by the way, I got a Hall of Fame defensive tackle in Warren Sapp, who's on my ass every single day, trying to get me to understand where my hand placement needs to be, where my eyes need to be pre-snap. Why am I not looking at the snap count, pre-snap? And I'm going, I don't look at the play clock. I'm a defensive lineman. That's for the quarterbacks. He's going, no, Jay, you look at the play clock so you understand if that thing is below 8 seconds, it's probably going to be on first down. And I'm like, I never thought about that. And so you just learn all of the nuances to football. Oh, by the way, I got former Viking Purple People Eater Keith Millard as my defensive line coach, and he's teaching me. He played with John Randall and all of these greats out there in Minnesota, and he's going, Jay, dude, you've got all these skills you don't know how to use. You got a great frame, great body. You're twitchy. You got to understand what it is you're trying to accomplish and how you want to attack a different offensive lineman versus this guy. And I think there was so much I didn't know. It wasn't that Ohio State didn't prepare me for the NFL. Ohio State prepares you mentally and right here in the chest. Ohio State is a tough man. Every single day you're battling the best of the best. That'll hone your skills and that'll prepare and temper your mind for the challenges you're going to face in the NFL. But the NFL prepares you for what you're going to see on Sundays and who you're going against and how to game plan specific scenarios, specific guys, specific coordinators. And I think that is the level that, most guys never get to, but when they do, they understand it's so much different.
Did y'all get as deep as into injury reports by the offensive lineman? And this guy's been dealing with a bad left shoulder for 3 weeks. Attack that side. He's not gonna be willing to maybe throw out there like he did 5 weeks ago, or maybe a right shoulder or a knee. Did y'all get that minute in your preparation?
Tim, Keith would call me on a Saturday, night on game night and be like, hey, come downstairs, in the hotel. I want to show you something. Yeah. And he's pulling up film. And he's going, hey, last week, big Marcus McNeil, left tackle from the Chargers, dude, he rolled that left ankle twice on this film going against Tamba Ali. Now look at him limping here in the fourth quarter. I bet you that thing's still bothering him. Here's the 2 moves you want to attack him with. Really work on that ankle, and if you can, try and step on it. I mean,
did it work?
Hell yeah, it worked. That's just the game, man. I mean, nothing's off the table.
All right. And let me jump in here. I was going to ask you about Caleb Downs, but I know he's going to be good and he's going to bring some damn sanity to the secondary in Dallas. But let's go to the Styles brothers, because both of them had position changes. You know, Junior from receiver to DB, transferring from Notre Dame, and Sonny Styles from safety to linebacker. Is Sonny fully evolved as a linebacker right now?
Ooh, great question. So I saw an awesome breakdown on Sonny Styles about a month before the draft that just reminded me of what I had already seen during the season. He is such a cerebral player that it doesn't get brought up enough. When we think cerebral players, we think right away Caleb Downs, because he was the brain of that Ohio State defense. I mean, he's like the fire starter. Cut on that tape and watch Sonny, man. He's always shaded to the strength of the offense. He always is a step early because he knows what's going to happen. He plays explosive. He plays downhill. He is going to stabilize that Washington defense as much as Caleb will in Dallas. Sonny is not the final evolution of what he'll be, because he's going to learn the NFL game and he'll go through another evolution. But as far as having the best possible prospect to be in the middle of your defense and to be, you know, your signal caller on that side of the ball, man, there is no better guy you could get. He can run sideline to sideline. He can go downhill and thump you. He's a former safety, so he understands coverage. He can run back into the deep third from the line of scrimmage, because he runs a damn 4.3, 4.4. I mean, like, that's not normal. So you think take Fred Warner, but a half a step faster and less hair. This kid is special, man. And I hope that, you know, I had a talk with Sonny in the hallway there in the tunnel heading into the stadium. And I said, man, the first thing you want to do, get with a vet that you trust when you get in those OTAs and mini camps. Start it early. Don't wait till the training camp to pull a vet aside and go, hey man, I want to pick your brain. Hey, I want to kind of shadow you. Do it early so they know you're serious. They'll know you're serious because they'll see your work. But if you grab one of those vets aside and make sure it's a safety or one of the guys in your linebacker rooms, and really get a routine, get an understanding of how they watch film, and get an understanding of what they're looking for when they watch film, because it's a different game. And this is not the college game. The hash marks are in a different place. It's a whole different game. And understand what coordinator you're going to be going against week in and week out, because they all have tendencies. And he was like, thank you. I mean, that's real good stuff. But he's such a humble kid, man. And just talking to him, he's going to absorb everything when he gets in there in the mini camp, and he's going to be a long tenured NFL player. I can already tell. Can you tell that his dad played football? That his dad played football at the highest level? How does it? Because like Clay just brought up, I mean, Lorenzo transferred back from Notre Dame to Ohio State. He saw the light. You know what I mean? That was his period of enlightenment when he was at Notre Dame. Went from wide receiver to defensive back. His dad was on our show the other day, and he basically told him, expect that you're going to have to redshirt that first year you come back to Ohio State, because you're learning defense, although he probably played defense in high school as much as the offense. But my point is, can you tell when a guy has had football in his lineage? I guess is my point. So how does it show up, I guess, Yeah, no, it cannot be overstated just how important Lorenzo Styles Sr. was to his son's progression in football, and why they are where they are. The reason they could both change positions and still end up in the elites is because they got a daddy who knows what to expect, who's been grooming them for this moment, and probably pulling them aside, watching film with them. Styles, man, their dad, that dude was a monster. Oh yeah. He was no joke. He played at a high level, but more importantly, you can tell he takes his parenting seriously at a high level, because he had both of his boys ready for both the moments they needed to be ready for. And what I loved about just their temperament and personality is both of them super successful. One of them as successful as it gets, especially as a middle linebacker, being a top 10 pick, and yet the most humble, most patient, most gracious kids you've ever met. That's their father right there. So they're going to be successful because of that. That's
what I wanted to ask you. Does it help being a good guy in the NFL? If you're supremely talented, which both of those young men are, but does it help when you're a good guy? I mean, where does good guy go out the window? You understand what I'm saying? Meaning the willingness to be a true teammate as opposed to a fake teammate.
It's not just in football. You look in the NBA, you look in the NFL. You ever see guys who are always on a roster and maybe they don't play a ton, but coordinators, position coaches love them, and so whenever that coordinator goes to a new team, they always grab that guy, and he ends up on that roster. It's because they're not just good guys; they're locker room culture guys. They call them culture fits.
Yes.
What that means is they're good people. They're locker room stabilizers. They're the guys that you got to have a good handful of those guys in your building to make sure, not so much to keep the other guys in line, but to set an example for those guys on how to be a pro, on how to work, on how to study, and how to live your life. Those guys usually, come from good families, and those guys are usually football guys that prioritize the game over the lifestyle. And you need guys like that in your locker room.
Is there a guy drafted from Ohio State after the first round, which the first round went by, as it turned out, as predicted, fairly quickly for the Buckeyes? Slow start, fast finish before they even got to 15. Caden McDonald, to me, I thought he should have been a first-round draft pick, but I wasn't just being biased. I just liked the way what I saw come of age on him over the last 3 years, but especially from 24 to 25, the way he got trimmer, but not slimmer necessarily. You follow me? He got on a great diet. He showed a dedication, and my goodness, does he move the pile? He can be a 2-gap guy. He can be a 1-gap guy. I mean, I liked everything about him, and I thought him slipping to the second round when I saw a couple of guys taking ahead of him, I went, okay, but man, this guy, go back and watch the video. This guy came a long way and still can go a long way. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think Caden, just like Arvell, landed in the perfect place, man.
Yes.
I mean, you talk about a defense, the number one defense from last season. You got those two demons on the edge, those pass rushers they got. And nobody was happier than DeMeco Ryans that they landed Caden McDonald in the second round, which I know DeMeco was probably going, there's no way this kid's still available. How did we get him? Because everything you said, right? So you got a kid who we thought, I don't know how high we thought his ceiling was, let's say 2.5 years ago, but we thought, man, great frame. He's got some twitch for a big boy, and he's a worker. And he does not get moved from the point of attack. I mean, he is an anchor like a Vince Wilfork. Like, man, no one's moving this kid. So when you got that, then you combine it with this past season, he really evolved in his pass rush. I mean, he learned how to flip his hips. He learned how to snatch offensive linemen. He learned the push-pull, how to use weight against him. Whenever he felt a guy pushing too hard, he just yanked him and went past him. He learned how to be a professional. That doesn't come by mistake. That comes from a concerted effort to get better at your craft. And when you do that as a scout, as a guy that's going to be drafting you as a GM, you want to know what guys do we not have to, teach them how to be a pro? What guys who, already went through this evolution in college and have worked to become what they are. Yeah. He's somebody that's not just a talent guy. He worked his way into that position. And yes, I thought the tackle from Clemson that went way earlier, I thought that was interesting because I would have taken Caden, but they're looking at that guy going, does he have a higher ceiling? I'm looking at Caden going, he's got a higher floor though. Like that guy could easily bust. Caden will not. You know what you're going to get out of him, and he's only going to continue to improve. But in that defense, oh my God, Houston's going to be so damn good, man.
Oh yeah, Will Anderson on one side. I mean, just what you can see what you can see what Houston envisions there too, right? And I looked at Caden, the way he played against Texas, both times actually in the playoff game the year before, but also the way he played against Texas in the opener, the way he played against Michigan, the way he played against even Indiana and Miami. Yeah, those weren't victories, but he was going against big time NFL caliber personnel.
Yes.
And more than holding his own. See, that's the video I look at. I look at the way he kind of dominated the game again at Washington, of all places. Yeah. But that was his game, and
dude, Washington, he beat those guys up in the middle.
Oh, he did. He did.
He beat those guys up.
Yeah. Hey, anybody else, Jay, after that? I mean, obviously 2 tight ends went. I'm really curious. I think, Malik Hooker still with the Cowboys, right? Am I right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you got Caleb Dez, Malik Hooker.
A couple Buckeyes out there.
There you go. I mean, what kind of secondary are you looking for? Are you looking for the Buckeye secondary? Maybe they'll finally name something after Buckeyes instead of the Okie defense. They'll come out with a Buckeye defense. But then round down the line, I think Davis and Igbinosun is barely he scratched the surface. He's into it now, but he can go ahead. Who's the guy that jumps out at you before we move on? I know you got to get going.
Iggy is fantastic.
Yes, I love Iggy.
From a mentality. He's aggressive as all get out. And people don't realize this, man. Iggy's over 6'1" as a corner, dude.
Big guy.
Long arms. I mean, he's built just like Sauce Gardner. If he gets Sauce's technique and that temperament that he already plays with, he doesn't mind hitting you. Like, I was surprised. Now, I get it. He gets handsy. And I think that's what hurt him is that because he's a first-round graded talent. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
I said the same thing. Go ahead, though.
Yeah. If you look at him and you go, why isn't this kid a top 20 pick? And then you cut on the film and you go, oh, okay, he gets a little handsy here and there. He's got to stay emotionally balanced. But I want a guy that plays right on the edge like that, man. I mean, that pick in the Michigan game in the snow, just he makes these plays and he fights, he competes. He goes against the other team's best wide receiver, and he goes, I'm going to fight you for 4 quarters, and you're going to have to deal with me. I might get 1 or 2 PIs, but I'm going to make a big play, and you're going to feel it. I can live with that because if you get him with the right defensive backs coach, man, this dude has a ceiling as high as anyone else's. I liked Max Clair. I don't think Max was underutilized in Ohio State's offense. I just think Ohio State's offense has so many weapons and there's only one football. But I like Max a lot. And then our other tight end that went.
Will Kazmarek. Yeah.
Dude, Will, big, strong dude, and does have a nice skill set as a receiving tight end. But he's one of the more underrated picks that is shocked if he plays 8 years in the league. And, it's just one of those dudes that's a fixture on somebody's team because he's a real big, tough kid, man.
Yeah. Jay, before you go, I want to go to the spring game quickly here.
Yeah.
Tavien St. Clair was kind of the revelation or the headline, the mobility, the arm. I'm just curious, though, about the Buckeye starter. I saw some graphics in terms of 2027 draft and Dante Moore, Arch Manning, and Julian was the 3rd quarterback there. Is he a slam dunk to leave after this coming season, or could he be a 4-year player?
Okay. Let me just start by saying it's a spring game. You guys know, we all know that is an entertainment thing for the crowd.
Showcase is the word, the showcase.
That's the key word. You're gonna get the real stuff at that Jersey scrimmage. We can some change before, go to some practices, and you have to take everything in the spring game with a grain of salt. But one thing you can't ignore, a few things that stood out to me. Offensive line's gonna take a little bit. They got to get on a string. They got to get cleaned up a little bit. Defense always progresses faster than offense. It's just because offense is more timing than defense. Defense is reactionary. So defensive line, I thought, looked really good. I thought Chris Henry, good Lord, he's going to be good, man.
Yes.
He's going to be so good. He's already so damn polished. I don't know how he maneuvers that big body. I spent some time with Chris Henry one-on-one last summer heading into the season, and
seriously,
I was shocked.
Wait a minute. Seriously, you did?
Yeah, I mean, so he came to an event that we put on right there, like a Buckeye tailgate, and he came to it, and I probably hung out with him for about 20, 30 minutes.
Wow.
And I had no idea that he is the same height as me. Like, I knew he was tall.
Oh, yeah.
He's a full 6'6".
Yeah.
I mean, he is like boom, and he's polished. He's a nice kid, well spoken. You know, I played against his father, so we had that conversation.
Crazy.
Really excited about him. Tavien St. Clair. Oh man, guys, I hope he stays a Buckeye for the next 2 seasons because he's so gifted. His ceiling is so high that I completely would understand if a part of him feels like, man, I really need to hurry up and put my gifts out there on display. And I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to do it next season. I think he will stick around, though, because of Ryan Day and what Ryan can do for quarterbacks. He's seen what's happened for Fields and for Stroud, and he knows the potential of just staying in this Ohio State machine. It will bear fruit for you if you can stick it out. And if you can be someone, you know, like a Carnell Tate, and not be the guy for 2-3 years, and watching JSN and watching Marvin Harrison and even watching Jeremiah and still go top 5, I know that inspires Tavien to go, I can stick this out, because I don't think that you know, Julian is going to necessarily take off. I think Julian is super skilled. Does he have the physical traits that we look for a top 10 quarterback? Not necessarily, but what he does have is literally everything else.
Yes.
The one thing he's going to be pressured, and I won't say pressured, but he's going to be encouraged, and I've heard this from inside the building, and everyone already knows it. He's going to be encouraged to exercise his mobility at times, because the one thing about Ohio State's offense, and you saw it in the Miami game, when you go against these elite pass rushers and the pocket's not sexy and it's not clean and things aren't timed up right, can you make off-schedule plays? When everything is right, there's no one better in the country than Julian Sayin. He's on time, he's accurate, he is like poised, he's calm. But when there's chaos around his feet, he doesn't necessarily, instinctually, it's not his first instinct to just take off, get the offensive first down, and live to fight another day. And you saw, especially in the Miami game, even in the Indiana game, you saw about 5 or 6 plays I can pull up where Julian has a first down. I mean, he could stumble forward and get us a first down, and he's looking downfield, and then he either throws it out of bounds, he took a sack, or he threw an incompletion, and we're all screaming, Julian, you could jog 3 yards, and now the chains keep rolling. That's youth. Yep. That's inexperience. That's just growth. He's going to self-scout, and he's going to be so much better this season. And I saw in the spring game him take off about 3 times and go, you know what, let me just get into the habit of taking what the defense gives me. There's plenty of times where you know how you want it to look, but it's not looking that way. And so you got to take what they give you. He'll be fine. Yep. I think he'll be great this season, and I think he'll have an opportunity to go top 12, top 10. I think it's up to him whether or not he wants to come back, win a championship, depending on how things go this season, and improve his stock even more. But Tavien St. Clair is on the way, guys. He's coming, whether anyone likes it or not. He is on the way. Get ready for him.
I like everything about Tavien St. Clair. I mean, he had an inconsistent spring, is the way it was told me by somebody, a couple of people from inside the building. But he ended the spring the way they needed him to end it. If you follow my drift, I mean, he needed some positive reinforcement, and what could be more positive than looking for number 15 and throwing the ball to him, Chris Henry Jr., right?
I wanted to ask you, Will Howard. He number 4.
Exactly.
Right?
But here's the thing. That's what I wanted to bring up. You just brought that up about the Ryan Day effect on quarterbacks. Will Howard was basically almost told he was losing his job at Kansas State. It goes to Ohio State. And next thing you know, Billy Fessler, the quarterback's coach, but also Ryan Day, they got a hold of him. They started working on him immediately from a mechanics, throwing the ball standpoint and other aspects of the game. The last 4 games of the year, he was the best quarterback in the country. I don't think anybody would argue that.
Nobody would.
But then he gets drafted 6th round by the Steelers, even though he's the reigning national championship winning quarterback. And which I thought was a hell of a bargain for Pittsburgh. Yeah. But he did get drafted, you know, and I think that is a testament to what you're talking about, Jay. Is like, yes, you can be pretty good, but then Ohio State, and I'm not just blowing smoke up Ohio State's rear end here. Ohio State can make you better. That developed here thing is a real deal. Do you agree?
It's beyond a real deal. It's a proven
Commodity.
thing, right?
Yeah.
It's a proven commodity. We have a track record. We have evidence. We will prepare you for what you're going to see in the next level. And we're going to get you to the next level if you stay within the machine and just keep working. And I think guys are starting to realize that, which is why Ohio State's retaining top talent and why Ohio State can have a guy with the ceiling as high, as St. Clair's, and not worry that he's going to get out of the building. Because if you look at a guy, who's matches up to Tavien physically similar, is Michigan's guy. Look how his development is struggling.
Yes.
Right. Look how
Great
his
example.
growth is kind of being stymied there in Michigan. And I'm not even taking shots at Michigan because they're Michigan. I'm watching film and I'm going, he's not progressing like Michigan had hoped. This kid's not getting the proper coaching and the proper development at the quarterback position. And if you look at Tavien, just give him time. Watch Julian, as you said, perfect example with Will Howard. Comes from another program, was known for being a guy that used his legs more than being a pocket guy. And then all of a sudden he comes to Ohio State and the quarterback whisperer Ryan goes, "Hey, kid, I've done this for NFL quarterbacks. Let me just tell you what this is supposed to look like. Let me give you a couple landmarks pre-snap to look for. Let's get your mechanics cleaned up. And let me give you basically like, fundamentals. It's like basketball, right? Like pump faking, just fundamentals. You teach a quarterback the fundamental structure of how to play the position, what it is you need to be looking for, regardless of what defense you're going against. Here are the things that you need to have ready to go, your footwork, your alignment. And all of a sudden, Will looks like a different guy. And like you said, those last 4 weeks heading down the stretch of that championship season, who was playing better than Will Howard?
Nobody.
I mean,
nobody. Was I supposed to answer like that? Nobody.
Yes, you were, Mr. Harbaugh. But I mean, that's how it's supposed to go.
Yeah. Hey, real quick. Speaking of that, Cal Whittingham, new head coach at Michigan, obviously, left Utah in kind of a weird scenario there, basically being, to a certain extent, nudged out, forced out may not be the right term, but dude, Utah was never known for developing quarterbacks, were they? Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, you understand what I'm saying. What do you expect, just in a nutshell? We'll get on this later, some other appearance, but in a nutshell, do you expect Michigan to be better than it was a year ago?
I expect Michigan to be a more stable program
discipline
than it was a year ago.
Yeah,
because they had some discipline and stability issues for a while now. And so what I think he'll bring to that program, he's a tough offensive guy when it comes to running the football. I think they're going to have a good offensive line. I think they will have that element of toughness. Because that's what he hangs his hat on. Not necessarily known for developing quarterbacks. I agree there. That's something that they're going to have to outsource. Get somebody in there that knows what they're doing, because I just haven't seen it there, and I don't think that's his skill set. But yeah, right. But they're going to run that ball. If you're a running back, you should want to go to Michigan, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to have some big, strong offensive linemen. And they're going to have to rebuild this thing from the ground up. They've had tons of PR work to do. I mean, they've had their hands full up in Ann Arbor.
You see them on Court TV. You watch part of that on Court TV right now.
Oh, God, man. That was wild, man.
Hey, Jay, I know you're still partial to a team that wears silver and black.
Hey.
Might you have a little
mug?
Yeah, a little
mug shot.
A Suvi. There you go. Is Mendoza going to take them from, the skid row to the top of the how do you think, what are they thinking, and does he translate to the NFL?
Oh, a couple things. One, the Raiders quietly, I won't even say quietly, had one of the best drafts of all the teams drafting, right?
Agreed.
I mean, the Raiders got some critical pieces, all starting with a center, out of A&M, who I think you get a young quarterback, you get a great center underneath him, a kid that can help, he can build a rapport with and help him as a signal caller. They also had another center that they grabbed in free agency who's a veteran. he will help Mendoza tremendously, but nobody will help Mendoza more than Kirk Cousins.
Yes.
And not just a Kirk Cousins that knows he's there to be a bridge guy. You're not getting Kirk Cousins who thinks he's competing to be a starter and is hoping to resurrect his career. That's not where he is mentally. He's at that space now mentally where he's going, man, I want to be still in this league. And if you want to still be in this league at his age with where he is in his career, you better be willing to help out the young guys and groom, the heir apparent, which is obviously Mendoza. So it's almost the perfect situation, new management, new GM, head coach, all of that stuff. And now they're building up their program the right way with quality draft picks. They weren't just going for the splashy, fast guys as they always did in the past.
Yeah.
No, they're
Cliff
going
Branch.
for the right. They're
Yeah.
going for the best the best football players they can find. And they're going for culture fits. I can't stress that enough, man. The Raiders had a culture issue for decades. Mendoza is almost the opposite of Raider culture when you think about his personality. But in a way, he's exactly what that locker room needs.
Amen.
He's gonna bring a level of humble, kind of affable, real, but also quirky, nerdy, almost corniness that people might think is like not real, but that's really his personality. And those guys are going to be drawn to him because of how he works and because of how tough he is on game day. The most underrated thing about Fernando Mendoza is his toughness, man. We saw Caden Curry smash him on like the second play of the game against Indiana in the Big Ten championship. I mean, Caden literally smashed him. I thought he was unconscious. And what did Mendoza do? Popped right up, got right back in the huddle, went and got a first down. And I was like, oh boy, I didn't know he was this tough.
Yeah.
I mean, big physical, tough kid that wants to be great. And he will say all the right things when the cameras come on. And I think the Raiders need a little bit of that too.
Yeah. The touchdown run against Miami in the national championship game will be legend, will be shown forever about a quarterback, no matter what the circumstances, willing to sell out for the betterment of him. You can say that he already won the Heisman, the betterment of his team. That says it all. And going back to what you were talking about Julian saying, just before the scrimmage was over in the stadium on Friday, when they had all these high school coaches in, boom, and he ran a naked bootleg around left end for a touchdown. And the first touchdown scored in the spring game was him on a keeper around right end. So
exactly.
I mean, if you just go on that, right, the little tea leaves you get to read, and watch Fernando Mendoza. He didn't run every down, but boy,
no,
when he needed to and they needed it, boom, he got it, right, Jay?
Well, we have to just be honest about where football is right now.
Yes.
Name a quarterback that's won a championship in the NFL or college level in the last, half decade that didn't have an element of mobility to their game.
Yeah, even Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford will take the old man Matt. I played against Matt. That's how old Matt is.
Yeah.
He will get on his horse if he needs to and go get a first down. Like, you have to do it, guys. Like, defenses are too damn good. Coverage is too damn good. That the only thing you can do, to kind of destabilize the structure of the defense is to be a threat with your legs.
Yes.
And I'm not saying you have to be a mobile, dual threat. No, just show it on camera twice.
Yes.
Just
Bingo.
give the defense something to have to go, oh crap, he will run. Okay, well, now we got to play a little differently. Like as a former defensive end, the favorites I love to play against were like, Matt Ryans and even Tom, because these were guys that they're great with their arm and cerebral, but you knew where they were going to be. You could count on it. I've sacked Phillip Rivers, 2-3 times in my career. I knew Phil was going to be right there about 7 yards deep, patting the ball.
Yeah.
So I can plan my whole rush for those angles. Man, you play against Lamar, you play against Josh Allen, you play against Hurts. You play against Pat Mahomes, you don't know where the hell they're going to be. And now your rush is over. You hit all the same angles, but he's not there.
Yeah.
That is something that Mendoza brought just enough of where he can move it around and, oh my goodness, they're in, cover 5. Everyone's taking off. I'm going to go get a first down. And I was screaming at the TV during Ohio State games, Julian, just run once or twice. It's going to throw off the entire scheme. They're going to have to change their coverages because you're willing to run. Georgia game, C.J. Stroud. We're all on him all season long. He hasn't run all season. What did he do in that Georgia game? He ran for 61 yards, something like that.
Yes.
It was the difference in why we had a chance to win that game if we make that field goal, because CJ decided to finally run.
Yeah, absolutely. Amen. Hey, last thing. Kirk, you brought up Kirk Cousins a while ago. He's getting 8 figures, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 8 figures to be a
his contract. Yeah, it's his. So he's got $20 million of it is guaranteed. But you're right.
That's 8 figures, right?
So yes, well, yes, but it's essentially a 1-year deal if you look at the fine print. But, but yes, it's definitely.
But my point,
great figures.
You're not. You think you know my point, but that's not my point. My point is, as a quarterback, you can be a tutor. You can be like Mike Tomczak was in the league like 15 years. You understand where I'm going there?
Yeah, gotcha.
When are they going to invent a position like that for defensive ends, defensive linemen like yourself, Jay, who could just be there 4 or 5 years mentoring?
Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice?
Oh, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
I think it's called defensive line coach. But
I think it is.
You only get 7 if you're great.
Yeah, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, the incomparable Jay Richardson.
Appreciate you, Jay.
Thank you for joining us, my man.
Anytime, guys. Appreciate you having me.
Great stuff.
Absolutely. Man, Jay is one of our favorite people, and now you know why. But if you've been paying attention, you know why. But ladies and gentlemen, for Clay Hall, for Jay Richardson, and for myself, Tim May, yes, this has been the JayClayMay Report. Until next time, we'll see you then.